I tell you why we started. It's because London Weekend Television had just started as a company, and the head of programs at London Weekend Television thought that he wanted to have a better style of comedy, didn't he?
Yes.
He wanted to...
They chose us.
And unfortunately, the audience, well, our television viewers, weren't that keen on very sophisticated middle-class comedy. And I said to Frank, I think, you know, we ought to do something which appeals to the majority of people and not just to a few. And so he said, well, I've got this script here. It's been rejected by the BBC. What do you think of this?
The BBC turned it down because they said there was no fun in buses.
Yes, that was Michael Mills, wasn't it?
Michael Mills, yes.
Yeah. He says it's a very bad script and no one ever wouldn't be very successful. So we read it and we thought this is we think it's just the sort of show we need to do in London Weekend Television. And we set about casting it, didn't we?
Yes.
Well, Reg Varney was available and had been in the rag trade. Very successful he was too. He was looking for a new vehicle. He was very keen, and both Ronnies thought he was the man for the job, so that's the star. Having got the star, we needed Mum. I approached various actresses, and the first actress I approached was Doris Hare, because Reg liked her, I liked her, and we thought she would be ideal. So I went to see her. She lived by Putney Bridge, and said, Doris, will you come and be Mum on the buses? And told her all about it. And she said, yeah, I'd like to, Stuart, but my husband's, he was a phonologist. So a doctor who deals with the head somewhat. And he's on a conference in South America, and I promised to go with him, and so I'm not available. So we couldn't put the show off because television companies had to have the show when they wanted it, not when you could do it. And so she couldn't do it. So I tried various actresses, and in the end I asked Cicely Courtnish, or Dame Cicely Courtnish as she was then, if she would do it. And she did, as you know, the first series, but she didn't gel with the others. And well, my wife told me I shouldn't have her cast in the first place. She said she'd never been on the bus, so, and she was a big star in her own right, and it didn't quite, we needed, the thing about On the Bus is it was a team show. Everyone helped everyone else, and we couldn't have people who wanted to do their own thing. And Cicely Courtnish's idea was to sit around the piano and sing songs, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's what she told me. She said, I could do it only if I had a month to read the script. A month, and we had to do it in a week. So
5 days, actually.
Well, we wrote in 5 days, but they had one week in which to learn it and do it.
Yes, well, the turnover was pretty, but I was very much younger then. So, and anyway, then we had to cast the bus conductors and also the inspector. And I'd fortunately been asked by London Weekend Television to do a show called Mrs. Wilson's Diary. It had run successfully in the West End for some time. It was based on Private Eye, who ran this sort of diary every week, and they made a stage show of it. And in the cast there were these two actors, Bob Grant and Stephen Lewis. Stephen, funny enough, played in The Inspector looking after Harold Wilson in the story of Mrs. Wilson's Diary. And I thought he's a great actor. And Bob Grant, with his great big teeth, he played George Brown, that's right. Remember well, those of you who are old enough will remember George Brown. He was a drunken Home Secretary, Foreign Secretary, wasn't he, at the time? He was quite notorious, but anyway, Bob was very amusing playing this character. So I suggested to the Ronnies have a look at these two, and they agreed with me that they were right for those two. Michael Robbins, he's no longer with us now. I worked with him at the BBC when I was producing at the BBC, and I thought he was quite talented. He had a lugubrious look, which I thought would be ideally suited. But I was stumped when it came to Olive. And so I said to the Ronnies, now who can you have? I don't know a girl who's sort of plain and fat. So I think the story of casting Olive is quite amusing. I think Ron will tell you that.
Yeah, we were working for the BBC at the time, and Anna Karen was playing a tiny little bit part, and she came to rehearsal. She obviously hadn't had a breakfast, she was hardly made, she hadn't made up anything, and we said, look, she might just well play Ollie. So we said, I told our director, do you mind if we take her to on weekends? He said, no, it's okay. So she got in the car, and I was driving, and I suddenly thought she was making herself up in the mirror. So I said, no makeup, no. So when we got there, I don't know if it was you who said to her, it's a very unpleasant part. You're the sort of woman who, when she goes to bed at night, takes her teeth out and puts them in a glass, you see. So Anne said, oh, I could do that, and she probably took her teeth out. And if you look on the buses very carefully, you will see she's got front teeth, but her side teeth are not there. It gives a rather funny appearance, to say the least. And when you think that she was, with Barbara Windsor, she was a beauty queen in her youth, wasn't she?
Yeah.
And she didn't mind what she looked like on this show. She really didn't mind at all, and she was marvellous.
She wanted the work.
Well, they all wanted the work. So did we.
Another amusing story about Anna, she's not here, so I think I can tell this, was that when the show became successful after the second series and people were watching in their millions, she started to get a little glamorous.
Yes.
And she started to slim a bit. And of course this wasn't good. But she was a very sensitive girl, and I found that if I upset her enough at rehearsal and said rather nasty things to her, she'd rush off to the canteen, eat a lot of cream buns, and come back with the figure we required.
I started here in 1966 as an extra on The Saints. Oh, Sir Roger. Sir Roger Moore. I liked it, and I thought, well, I'll do another thing. And I've done the Champions, and I've done other things, and all of a sudden I was doing Star Wars, and I'd done 800 productions. So you've seen me. I've been in your front room. I was cutting timber in a timber yard in 1966, and someone says to me, do you want to do a day's extra work? I thought, doing what? I don't know what that is. He said, I'll show you. We come up here, we've done The Saints, and then I had to join the union, and I joined the union. And 32 years later, I was still doing it. So, yeah, go and do what you've got to do. I could tell you about timber, cutting a bit of wood, but that wouldn't be live, would it?